Hello everybody, and welcome to yet another Europe Park episode. Now, as a refresher, this is the collaboration with SimFox, Etzeren, and Henk. All of their YouTube channel links will be in the description below, and if I remember, I tend to forget, I'll put the playlist of the series down below as well, since this is a fairly slow-going series, so some of you guys out there might not know about this series at all, or need to catch up, I don't know. So I actually did the previous 2 episodes of the series. I like to keep the series going, and sometimes my other collaborators are either too busy to work on this, which I 100% totally understand, but because, you know, like, school's almost over, big exams and whatnot, and I got that too. I'm in college. Or others just simply do not want to work on it, really, because they are sick of it, which, again, I totally understand. I'm getting to that point where I just can't play this game anymore. I played a lot of this game in the past 2 years. But anyway, for those of you who aren't too familiar with this series, I'll kind of tell you what I have done since episode 1. And I actually wrote this down because it's kind of hard to remember. So the first episode I did in this collaboration series was episode 4. That episode was simply called England. I probably could have came up with something better than that, but in that episode, I made a nice little plaza area with a mini golf in the center. I tried my best to make it look like England architecture. Again, I've said this many times, I don't live in Europe, nor have I ever been there. I totally want to visit Europe someday, though. It's definitely on my bucket list, but the point is, I'm not that smart when it comes to architecture in Europe. My best option is to basically search Google Images or videos on it. Actually, no, that's not the best way. The best way, which I have done for this series, was ask people on the RCT Discord that live in Europe, because a huge percentage of that Discord do live in Europe. I ask them ideas and questions and stuff. So thank you guys for that. Very helpful. Now, that episode was way back over a year ago, and I wrote this down to February 10th of 2017, so crazy. Now, next episode I did after that was episode 7, Big Ben. Fun fact about this episode, it is my most popular, or in other words, most watched video of this series for me, which is awesome. It's also my 3rd overall most watched video. Really cool. And if any of you are wondering, my most watched video was the showcase for Tropica, that tropical theme park with Etzeren. And that video wasn't even that long ago either, just posted late last year. It's funny because I remember it took forever for that video to reach 100 views, and then out of nowhere it kind of just blew up, and now it has like 14 to 1500 views. I think at least that is what it is when I'm recording the commentary you are hearing right now. I'm not sure if it was the thumbnail, the title, or if someone out there posted it on Reddit or something. I'm not sure. I have a showcase video for every park that I complete, and none of them got close to 1,000 views, so interesting. Not complaining, it's fantastic. And my second most popular video is the mini challenge series with SimFox, which just made over 1,000 views not too long ago. Now, I'm guessing the majority of you don't even know what that is. I'm not gonna go into full detail about it, but it's just these challenges that SimFox and I send to each other. We record doing the challenge pretty much. We each had 2 in the course of a year and a half, so nothing really. But SimFox and I are actually going to cancel that little mini challenge thing, partly because I'm not a fan of them, even though it was my idea to begin with, and we only did 2 of them. And I thought now, because we have the challenges in the RCT Discord, which can be very similar, so SimFox will actually do one last mini challenge. I sent it to him in the previous mini challenge, the number 2, I think. Then after that, it's all done. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. So, like I said, episode 7, I did Big Ben, and I posted that on March 10th of 2017. So, Big Ben, very popular landmark in England. It's that clock tower building. So it's sort of a recreation, but from now on I'm gonna avoid recreations because 1, it lacks freedom for me to build, and 2, I just tend to do very bad with because of the lack of scenery options and my crappy scenery skills. But I think it turned out fairly well, and I kind of made the corkscrew coaster go through the Big Ben clock tower. Thought that was pretty unique. Then after that I did part 9, which was called the update. The reason for that was because between my episode 7 and Henk's episode 8, there was just like 3 months of no Europe episodes, just a lot of inactivity. But that was back towards around this time, actually. And like I said earlier, this is the time when it's getting close to the end of the school year, big projects, big exams, finals, etc. So yeah, I think in that episode, I basically was just finishing the corkscrew coaster that I started in that Big Ben episode. Then after that, I did part 11, my least favorite episode, Tour de France. That was posted on August 7th of 2017. So why was it my least favorite? Because it was absolute crap, basically. I ended up deleting it in my next episode because it was just so bad. Surprisingly, I didn't get any negative comments on this episode. In fact, I was shocked to see several people liking it. The only thing I remember liking about that episode was the France flag that I made out of flowers. But everything else was just so bland and taking up a lot of space, and yeah. Then in episode 13, which is definitely up there on one of my favorite episodes, not only from the Europe series, but from any series I have ever done, The Lion. That was the next one. I posted that on October 26th of 2017. So first thing I did in that episode was delete the Tour de France section. I deleted the entire thing. So at the moment, there is no France section in the park, but one of us will definitely get there at some point. Now, the lion, like I said in that episode, the lion is the national animal for England. So it's more of a symbol than just making England-themed architecture. I forget if that was a suggestion or not, or if it was just if I was just searching and came across that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I made a giant Giga coaster with lion colors, I guess you could say. Lions are big and scary, so I made the coaster big and scary. I'm a big fan of that coaster. So I also, in this episode, rebuilt the station building. In this episode, that actually happened. I think it was the first thing I did. It was way earlier in this episode, simply because the station that was there was pretty boring. It just needed some more shape. It was and less boxiness. It was just too boxy. Then the next episode I did after that, that was not posted too long ago, part 15, Dueling Dragons, was posted on February 8th of 2018, which is 1 year minus 2 days since I uploaded my first episode of this series. Pretty cool. Now, so know this Dueling Dragons episode, another one of my all-time favorite episodes I've ever posted on this channel. I was very proud of the dueling castle themed coasters I made, and that was the Wales themed ride suggested by Stu. And if you want to know more about that, you could just watch that episode. I explain like who Stu is and stuff. So and then every episode before that, the Dueling Dragons one, every episode before that was England theme, excluding the Tour de France episode, but like I said, I deleted that. Then I had this Wales themed ride, and then after that I posted part 16, SimFox Plaza, on March 15th, 2018. That was the Ireland themed area, and now we are up to date. This is part 17, the Loch Ness Monster ride, part 1 of 2, or half, or whatever the title is called, I'm not sure yet. This is the Scotland themed ride. I only get roughly half of it done in this episode because it's a huge project and I didn't want a 20 to 30 minute video. So after I upload the second half, the entire UK section will be pretty much completed, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. Now in this episode, I admit I was struggling. I felt like this Loch Ness Monster project was too big and too risky. About halfway into making this, I thought this wasn't going to turn out. I thought I wasted hours of building and staring at the screen, and I thought I had to start all over, which is totally fine. Even really good RCT players do that. Now, there are a couple people I have to thank for things. One, thanks to SimFox for suggesting this idea, doing the Loch Ness Monster Coaster idea. I absolutely love the idea. I mentioned doing the Loch Ness Monster ride in my previous episode, and then someone, since I mentioned it in that episode before, someone by the name of Gary Courtney suggested using a coaster with long trains, such as a junior or a hyper coaster. And this person also said a water coaster could also work. I did originally think of doing a water coaster, because, Loch Ness is in the water, so a water ride would fit well. But on the other hand, I like the idea of having a coaster with long trains, like you said. I decided to do a hyper coaster because junior coasters are not that intense. At least they shouldn't be. I thought something scary like the Loch Ness Monster should have a scary ride. Junior coasters are kiddie rides, shouldn't be scary, so hence why I chose the hyper coaster. So at this point, you can see I have lots of terraforming. And yes, I'm aware that it is very bland. I still have an entire episode to finish this whole ride and play around with foliage, textures, and miscellaneous buildings and whatnot. Now this, just bumped the desk. Now this same person also suggested names for the Dueling Dragons ride. I forgot to mention this last episode, so I apologize for that. Gary had the idea of naming the red coaster Crimson Cockatrice, and the white coaster White Wyvern. And as this person said, they are both dragons and a good fit to see fight each other. So thank you for that. Now, as for what I am building, you can see that the layout of the ride is pretty much complete. Next episode is terraforming, and you can see I have this waterfall here, which was inspired by that Africa scenario in the Wacky Worlds, I think. African Falls? No, Victoria Falls, my bad. Victorian Falls, I think it was in the Wacky Worlds. It has a beautiful waterfall, so and even the trees on the top, it just looks so good. So I did something very similar here, heavily inspired. Now I think that's all pretty much. In the next episode, when I finish, I'll try to talk more about what I'm actually doing. I do end at a weird spot, sort of random, but oh well. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Also, subscribe to the wonderful collaborators. Join us on Discord if you haven't already. Like this video, comment any suggestions and whatnot, and positive feedback or negative feedback, criticism, whatever. And I will see you guys next time.